So I'm going to tell you why your roofing leads suck quality wise, right? So maybe you're getting a crap ton of volume, or you're working with a lead aggregator like Angie's, Home Advisor, Networks, whatever one, but they could get you a crap ton of leads. Like that's not the issue. The only issue there is they all suck. Whether that's, they aren't picking up the phone, hey, I never filled this out, or they're just, oh, I saw the free roof ad. Can I get a free roof? Like stuff like that, quality wise. People who are never going to buy a $20,000 roof from you. So how does this even happen? Well, it comes down to what we call the pebble and the boulder. That's a terrible drawing. A boulder. So there's two examples here because really 80% of an ad, especially in the home service space, is going to be the offer. This is what's going to drive results is the offer. The other 20% is the creative, like who are we actually, what do we have on the ad? What is the picture? Of course, that matters. What matters mostly is again the offer, which is where most lead companies who are incentivized to get you leads instead of actual results are doing. They're just running low barrier pebble offers. Now, why do we call it even a pebble in the first place? Well, there's two reasons. One, because it's really easy to get into a funnel with, meaning it targets a lot of people, and it's also just everywhere. So let's say you're on a hike, you're walking through a trail, there's gonna be pebbles everywhere, right? That's just not something you get surprised by. It's really easy to step over them. That's why we call it a pebble. Because the offer you're running is just going to everybody. So there's about three different types of people. There's the 85% who are not in the market, they don't need a roof, they have no business opting into the ad in the first place. You have 10% who need a roof, they are not actually looking to get it done though. So this is going to be the guy, especially in door knocking. If you guys are going door to door, this is going to be a very prominent customer who's like, no, I don't need a roof. Get away from my yard. Or, hey, I already have a roofer. He's going to be the guy who has three tabs and has missing shingles or has damage, but just doesn't want to get it done. Then we have this last little 5% here who is going to let you in the house. They're a hot lead. They're going to close at either one third to even half sometimes, percentage wise. They're high intent. What these Pebble offers do, which I'll give you a few examples that your lead aggregator or just maybe you might be running, going to be like the very easy to get over examples, which is free roof, roofing program, government assisted, right? So like stuff that doesn't actually exist. You're not giving roofs away for free, and governments rarely are going to pay for roofs, and that's not the type of customer you want, anyways. Or for example, free add-ons, right? Like free gutters or free, which actually I don't dislike that one. It's just it's going to get a lower quality customer. Then we have the other example of a boulder, which is another trait of it, is it being everywhere. So this is going to be like the free inspection offer. Reason why I don't like these: free inspection. You don't stand out. Every other roofing company is running that, and it's also just going to get lower quality customers. You can still make some closes and get some high intent leads out of free inspections, but it's also going to be a lot of people. Hey, I saw the inspection was free. You want to come take a look at my roof? The roof's only 2 years old, and they don't actually need a new roof, so it was a complete waste of time. I've heard that happening after speaking to a lot of other of our clients who have ran this offer. Free roof. I don't even need to explain why this is bad. You're just going to get terrible customers out of it. They're not buying a roof. Government assisted program, same exact thing. Free add-ons. Again, I don't dislike this one. It's actually not terrible. It will decrease your quality a little bit because you're incentivizing people with free stuff, which isn't always a bad thing, but it's not the ideal customer you want. So, what do we want to do? What is an example of a boulder? It's something that is very direct, aka when you're on a trail, you don't miss a boulder, you see it. If it's on the path, you're gonna see it. And it's also really hard to get over. So if there's no way around that boulder, you're just gonna have to climb and get through, which is how we want to make our ads. So direct messaging, which if you don't know, messaging is basically just how we call our ICP out, which ICP, very fancy way of just saying ideal customer profile. So who do we actually want to, advertise to? Who do we want to sell? If you want to sell specifically to people who do metal or who want a metal roof, well, you should have your creatives and your offer represent metal roofs only, right? Not shingle roofs. That would be an example of faulty messaging, very indirect messaging. Second part is giving them a barrier to jump over. Now, there's two ways we can do this, which is the directness. You just want to go after people who already know they need a roof. This is how we're going to get this 5%. Direct messaging, or we know you need a roof, and then the barrier. Here's what our roofs start at. And when you're putting, here's what our roofs start at, you want to be putting something that people who don't actually need a roof or who aren't looking to get their roof done or who aren't serious are not going to click into, which is putting a price tag on the cost of doing business with you at a minimum, which could be, for example, and depends on how high you want to put it. You don't want to go too high. You also don't want to go too low. But if you put like a price tag like $9,000, you are going to just detract so many bad quality leads. And everybody coming through is very likely to book, sit down, well, because they opted into something like this and actually needs a roof. Now, this is an example of what works in retail. We don't really do insurance specific. You will get some insurance claims from this. Mainly, this is going to work for retail customers. There's other examples of this you can do, like for example, the roof starting at with financing. But another main important part, which I don't really touch up on usually, is trust. You do want your ad creatives, since it is 20% of what matters, to build trust. So if you're running AI offer videos where it's just got the AI voice background, companies or people don't want to work with the huge Erie Home Company. They want to work with the local roofing contractor who's going to do a great job, who they could, see out on the weekends and actually trust them, right? Their neighbor almost. That's the approach we want to take with the creators. I actually made another video on that, but this is just about what's going to get you the highest quality. It all comes down to the offer. Now, this is from the top of funnel perspective. This is just your lead. If you do this part right, this is going to be pretty much 80% of what actually matters. The rest is just calling your leads quick enough, getting them booked into an appointment, having a solid pre-demo process. So like sending them resources, building even more trust, and making sure they show up, which we handle for you if you do decide to work with us. But this right here is the main issue, 80% of the people I speak to have, is just the top of funnel leads are just so bad. So if you got value from this video, if you actually learned, maybe got the secrets on why your lead aggregator or your ads aren't working, and this is just a very surface level example. If you do decide you want to work with us, we go really in depth on this and come up with custom curated offers specifically for your company and your ideal customer type. So yeah, if you got value from this, click the link below. It's going to take you to a book a call page and a form. Fill that out, and you'll talk to Austin or one of our other team members. And we don't work with everyone. I do want to say that. If you're doing over 1.2 mil a year, you have a trained sales team who knows how to handle retail or insurance customers that are not referral based. Opt into that. We'll help you out.